The key to really understanding this lesson is to remember what we talked about earlier about factoring being the opposite or the inverse of distribution. And then remembering that when we distributed conjugates, they always factored or always canceled out the middle term. Conjugates looked like this. We had, for instance, x plus 2, times x minus 2. And they're conjugates because they have the same numbers, but they have different signs in between them. And when we distributed those out or FOILed those out, we get our x squared term, so our first term squared. And then our middle term, x minus 2 is negative 2x, and 2 times x is positive 2x. That middle term always canceled out. And then the last term, 2 times negative 2, would be negative 2 squared, or negative 4. So the last term is this number squared, and the first term was this number squared. And then they were separated by a negative sign because these were always the same two numbers, one positive, one negative. Well, that trick, that sort of pattern always works when you had conjugates. Well, now that we're going the other way around, we're starting with this x squared minus 4, and we're going back to try and find the two binomials that made it up. We'll use that same pattern in reverse. So all we need to do is find the square root of our first term and the square root of our second term, and then we write them out side by side, put a plus in between one and a minus in between the other, and we're done. So for example, x squared minus 9, the square root of x squared is just x, and the square root of 9 is 3. So we'll write those both down side by side, x and 3, put a plus in between one, minus in between the other, and we're done. X squared minus 100, again, square root of x squared is x. So we got x, and then the square root of 100 is 10. So 10 and 10, plus in between one, minus in between the other, and we're done. Here we have x, and we have the square root of 1, which is 1. So 1 on both of these, plus in between one, minus in between the other. Once you get the Okay, example B, we're doing the same thing, but these are just a little bit more complex, but really the same pattern exactly. All we need to do is find the square root of the first term and the square root of the second term, and then write them twice. So the square root of 16 is 4. The square root of x squared is x. We'll write that down twice. And then square root of 25 is 5. Write it down twice. Plus in between one, minus in between the other. No problem. Square root of 4x squared is 2x. Square root of 81 is 9. So we get 2x and 9, and we get 2x and 9, positive, negative. And then finally, square root of 49x squared is 7x, twice, 7x. And square root of 64 is 8, twice, positive, negative. All done.